guys? I am Jonathan Mathis. I am the sports judge, and this is another episode of the Judge's Corner. And I am joined by the King. He is in the building, and I am joined by Coach Dante. How are you guys, fellas? We got a lot to get into tonight. There is a lot to talk about, and for our audience out there, we got a great show for you guys. So pull up a chair, get your popcorn ready, pour you a tall glass of Coke because we got a lot to get into tonight. What's up, King?
What's good, bro? How you doing? How you doing over there?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good.
Oh yeah, that's what's up. That's what's up, man. It's been a great week. I'm ready to get back into the seat. Happy to be back amongst you, you distinguished gentlemen, and let's talk about some things, guys. Let's do that.
It has for sure been a wild week, particularly in the association around the NBA. It's been buzzing. There's been a lot of excitement. There's been a lot of drama the last few days. What's up, Coach Dante? What's going on, man?
Hey, what's good, man? What's good? How y'all boys doing, man? I'm ready to get into tonight. Again, a lot of moves happened on Thursday, and I'm ready to get into it.
Well, let's dive into it. Let's get right into it. I think most importantly, we got to get into the Super Bowl first, right? Because we're 2 days away from the Super Bowl in what should be a thrilling game because you got two great teams in a head-to-head matchup. This is going to be a great game. It could be an instant classic. To me, I think it's going to be a great game. Guys, we're gonna get right into it. We're gonna get our predictions and preview this game and talk a little bit about the Chiefs versus the Eagles. Kickoff is at 3:30 p.m. Pacific time, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time on Sunday on Fox. But to me, guys, the Eagles have the better roster. They have a more complete team. Now the Chiefs have arguably the best quarterback in the NFL, Patrick Mahomes. And I heard reports this week that Patrick Mahomes is feeling fine. Now, I know a lot of people in my circle are in Phoenix this week, and they have had a close connection with the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes, and everyone says that Patrick Mahomes looked fine for Sunday, but he's going to be facing a pretty good defensive front with Brandon Graham and Josh Sweat. Those guys have 11 sacks each at the defensive end, and you got tackles like Javon Hargrove, you got Fletcher Cox. Respectfully, those guys are going to be coming at Patrick Mahomes, and it's going to be interesting to see how much pressure they put on him, and if they put enough pressure on him that he is forced to make throws, which could lead to some critical mistakes in the game. I like the Eagles. I think the Eagles are more balanced. I think the Eagles are a more complete team. They're relentless on both sides of the ball. You got Jalen Hurts, who had a breakout season. We talked a little bit about that as well. I like Jalen Hurts. I like how he has commanded that locker room, and he has taken on the leadership. He has, taking a great deal of responsibility, and that's what a quarterback is supposed to do, and that's what we've seen from Jalen Hurts. And then you talk about Nick Sirianni. I always say his name wrong. Please forgive me, but he has changed the culture. He has redirected this team, and look at where they are now. They're in the Super Bowl, and this is their chance to win it because they're going to lose a lot of guys moving forward. So the championship window is open now. You got to take advantage while you're there because you never know when you're going to get back. And I just like their defense. I like that secondary as well. You got some ball hawking defensive backs out there, and they can make this game a nightmare for Patrick Mahomes. Now, Patrick Mahomes gonna do his thing because he's a fierce competitor. He's good in his own right, and he's gonna deliver. He's gonna show up and he's gonna play the game. And you got Travis Kelce out there. He's gonna do his thing. He's gonna make sure he gets his targets, no doubt about it, because we all know how great of a tight end he is. He can create his own separation and he can find a way to get open because he has the ability to do that. But I'm riding with the Eagles. I'm riding with the Eagles, and hey, I'm sorry, Chiefs fans, but I like the Eagles, man. I just think they're the better team. They're gonna be ready. They have a ridiculous group. The Eagles can sack the quarterback, and the Eagles have sacked the quarterback 27.9% of the time when they hold on to the ball for 3 or more seconds. So, I mean, Patrick Mahomes is going to have to get rid of the ball. He has shown that he can get rid of the ball, but these guys are quick, man. This Eagles team to me is just too powerful. They can overpower you. They can steamroll you. They can beat you in a variety of ways, and that's why I'm taking the Eagles. What's your thoughts on this, coach, and who you got in Sunday's marquee matchup?
Yeah, Jonathan and King, I said Wednesday that the Eagles have a lot of pressure to win this game, and I think they will get it done. I got it in a close game, but the reason why I say they got the most pressure, Jalen Hurts has a lot of pressure because it's the last time you can see this team on the field again. They got a bunch of free agents they got to get up. They got to take care of. You know what I mean? You got C.J. Gardner-Johnson, who's one of the best safeties in the league. You got to pay him. You got to pay Javon Hargraves, who's a big part of that defense, that D tackle. You got to pay him. Now, Miles Sanders, you got to pay him. What you going to do at the running back position? You got to pay him. He probably won't come back because, he had a great season this year, such a great season. He probably played his way up out of the contract on their hand. You got to pay James Bradberry. Or you really want to give Bradberry $17 million? You really want to give? I think you don't want to do that. So you got some questions on the defensive side of the ball. If you don't win this game, that you got to take care of. So I got the Eagles. I think they can run the football on the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't think that run defense is that great. I think they got the better receiving core against their secondary, even though their secondary has gotten a little better. I think Jalen Hurts is going to play a big role up in this game in the run, in the RPO game. And I'll say if they can run the ball easily against Kansas City Chiefs, in control, keep Patrick Mahomes off that field. That's the key. If you can keep Patrick Mahomes as far off that field as you can beat this Kansas City Chiefs team. But if you can't and you're turning the ball over, it may be a long day for the Eagles. So, my key to this game, they got to control time of possession against a great quarterback like Patrick Mahomes. You can't give him too many opportunities. Or when you got him down, you gotta put him away. You got to put him away. You cannot allow a great quarterback like that to be inside of a ball game or give him too many possessions where he can come back to hunt you. Yes, they don't got the receiving core that the Eagles do. They don't. They still got Travis Kelce. They got Isaiah Pacheco, who's really good, who's been really good for them. And Patrick Mahomes, if you don't control time possession, keep him far away from the field, he can find a way to do it. That's how great Patrick Mahomes is. So I'm taking the Eagles in this game, in a close game, 23-24. 24-28.
That's a good score, by the way. This, you know what? I think this is the first time this season that the Chiefs will really be tested. I mean, at least the first time in the playoffs. They're going to be tested against this Eagles defense because, again, this Eagles defense wreaks havoc, right? And the last time Mahomes, if you guys remember, the last time Mahomes lost in the Super Bowl, the Buccaneers defense pounded him to the ground. They ran him into the ground. They made it difficult for him, and this time he has a bad ankle. So I mean, a lot of people are saying he's fine. We won't really know until Sunday. King, who are you taking in this game?
Man, honestly, this is probably gonna be one of the most anticipated Super Bowls, like evenly matched Super Bowls we've seen in a while. On one side you have the light-skinned Jesus and the Kansas City Chiefs. He's the reigning MVP of the NFL. Very good offense, high-powered offense. They move the ball really fast. And then on the other side, on the flip side of the thing, you have Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles, who have been very strong, very consistent the entire season. And if you listen to my show, Truth Be Told Sports Podcast, I've been very heavy on the Eagles all season long. Coming into this game, nothing has changed. I'm taking the Philadelphia Eagles in this. Reason being, Philly's just been really tough. They've been really tough and they've been really consistent. Whereas Kansas City, I don't know, man. It's very hard to go against them. It's very, like I said, it's very hard to go against Patrick Mahomes. He is the rated MVP for a reason. Chaos, you know what I'm saying? They thrive in chaos. Whenever he's running around that field, and you talked about a minute, getting the ball out of hand. Patrick Mahomes is very great for extending the plays. He can move inside and outside of the pocket and create extra time to for receivers downfield to get open. But the problem is that Philadelphia defense, especially that secondary, is very stingy. Where they have like 7 or 8 or 9 interceptions combined. And then the pressure they have coming from the Philadelphia defensive line is going to be very, very challenging for Patrick Mahomes as well, because if I'm not mistaken, they lead the league in team sacks also. So it's going to be like I think I want to say Coach said it earlier. It's going to be about if Philadelphia can control the clock, if they can use that running game to control the clock and keep Patrick Mahomes off the field, they're gonna run away with this game. I would say run away. I would say Philly probably by at least 7 by a touchdown. I'm not gonna give a score, but I'm saying by at least by a touchdown. But if they can control the clock, run the ball down their throats, and keep Patrick Mahomes off the field as long as they possibly can, they can take this game.
Yeah,
so I'm definitely taking Philadelphia.
It's going to come down to time of possession. And, one thing to pay attention to with the Eagles 5-1-5 alignment, which is with 5 defenders on the line and 5 defensive backs, works very well. And they use it to their advantage. And when they use it, they are often effective. And, they are nearly a suffocating defense. That's what we've seen, right? This defense is suffocating. This defense will swarm you. And again, there's monsters up front. The Eagles also have that elite cover cornerbacks. I like Darius Slay and I like James Bradbury.
Yeah.
And those are the 2 guys you just mentioned. And I think they can make it very tough for Patrick Mahomes. But like you guys said, Patrick Mahomes is good because of his rare athleticism, because he is a different breed, and simply because he's very mobile.
Right.
He can elude the pressure. He can make those guys chase after him and buy enough time to where he can extend plays and somehow find an open receiver and get the ball to him, because we've seen Patrick Mahomes do some ridiculous things. Like we've seen him throw with his left arm. We've seen some of the best sidearm throws from him, and he's gonna, like I said, he's gonna bring his A game.
He's very good under the pressure.
Right,
very good under pressure.
Under the pressure, excuse me, and he very rarely does he fold in big moments like that. And the Chiefs' offense has made a lot of impressive adjustments after the loss of Tyreek Hill. They got newcomers. They got Valdez Scanton. He has sprinted up the field to attract multiple defenders, so he has brought attention to himself. And then, of course, you got Travis Kelce doing his thing, and they will make plays on Sunday for the Chiefs. They will make plays. They will find a way to get the ball. But I still like the Eagles, because the Eagles invented the play where their whole team gets behind Jalen Hurts and pushes him to a first down on quarterback sneaks. They are very good on 3rd and 1s and 4th and 1s, and they find a way to move the ball. And they move the ball consistently on the ground with Miles Sanders, and they move the ball consistently through the air as well. And this has been brilliant. This has been a huge edge for the Eagles, and that's why I like the Eagles. And the Eagles have a great left tackle in Lane Johnson. He's a veteran. He's been around for a long time. He has overcome mental health struggles, and that's just a testament of his true character and who he is as a player. And he came back this season to play with a serious groin injury. He's still out there. You have a lot of toughness. He's a super nice guy. He's going to be doing his thing. But here's the thing that people are not talking about. Chris Jones. Chris Jones is a bad man for that Chiefs defensive front as well. And he's been very good. And that's going to be a tough matchup. That's going to be a very, very tough matchup. So keep an eye on that Chiefs defensive front as well, because a lot of people are sleeping on them. But I still got the Eagles winning this game. I just think the Eagles are going to be a little bit too much for the Chiefs to handle. But I do, however, think the Chiefs will keep it close and make it a ball game.
Yeah, I definitely think they're gonna make it a ball game. And again, like I say, it's a lot of pressure. I mean, on Philadelphia, man, they gotta squeak out this game, because on the defensive side, they got some thinking to do. What they're gonna do, that's why it's so important for Philadelphia. You just never know, because of the NFC can definitely get harder if you don't come out with this. Who knows? You get another opportunity like this again, like Jalen Hurts told him in that locker room. We got to capitalize on it now, and they definitely got to do it, because they got a lot of free agency decisions they have to make. And Patrick Mahomes, if you open up the door for him, he's going to find a way to get through it. If you open up the door for him, so that's why the running game will be important. And that defensive line, that Chiefs offensive line, can that Chiefs offensive line hold up? Because if they can hold up, Patrick Mahomes is going to find somebody. He's going to find somebody wide open. And he can very much expose that secondary if that Eagles defensive line can't get home against this Chiefs offensive line.
Oh, absolutely. Hey, it's gonna be a ball game. It's gonna be one for the ages. That's for sure. I think we all can agree on that. But guys, we about to move on. We about to switch gears here, and we're about to switch up. We about to move on to the NBA. Because, man, let me tell you, boy, it's been a wild and crazy week in the NBA. The NBA trade deadline was bananas. I don't ever recall seeing a deadline this entertaining, this compelling, this wild, this crazy. I mean, it was move after move, and some surprising moves that has kind of shaken up the NBA. And now the NBA has taken a stunning twist. I mean, the Suns gotten better overnight, and we'll get more into that. But man, what do you guys think about? And we're about to recap this. What do you guys think about some of these trades that happened in the NBA? King, man, talk to me. What did we witness?
The I don't know where to begin, to be honest with you. There was so much confusion with the trades. It started with the Kyrie Irving thing going to, at first he's, people talking about LA, and then he ends up in Dallas. He's trying to figure out how that's going to work out. And then overnight, Kevin Durant, we all want to sleep and wake up the next morning. Kevin Durant's a Phoenix Sun. And now that puts the Suns into a chance and to make them a viable contender for the West. So, I mean, there's just a bunch of stuff just happened, and like I'm just I have to get caught up on it. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot.
Look, guys, you had 16 trades, 16, 28 of the league's 30 teams, multiple all-stars. This is crazy. This is insane. And you can start at the top and obviously go with the blockbuster that pretty much dwarfs everything else. The Kevin Durant trade to Phoenix. That was the biggest trade at the deadline. That was a giant blockbuster. And I mean, that was a sizable swing to everyone else in the NBA. And now the Memphis Grizzlies are probably going, what the hell just happened? And the Denver Nuggets are probably feeling the same way. Okay, we had control in the West. Now the Suns are certainly the favorites to win it all overnight. It's like seeing an overnight sensation or something, but it's crazy what happened, and I think the Nets, man, it's just unfortunate for them because the Brooklyn Nets, guys, they were in prime contention. And I don't ever think I've seen a team in prime contention that trade away two superstars in the same season. I don't think I've ever in my lifetime anyway, seen anything like that. It's been crazy though. And I mean, the Suns, they now have a realistic shot at a championship. If you want to go big, you did go really big. You gotten better by adding Kevin Durant. I think he fits in really well because now he has a true floor general. And we'll talk a little bit about that as well. But I want to hear from Coach. I want to get your thoughts on the trade deadline and what do you think about all of this? What did you make of it?
I think it was a great trade deadline, but the Brooklyn Nets are the biggest failed super team that like probably I ever seen in my life. Uh, First of all, it got into turmoil quickly. Really. James Harden never wanted to be in Brooklyn. He already admitted that when the day he got traded to Philadelphia, he already pretty much admitted that he wanted to be in Philadelphia with Daryl Morey because Daryl Morey is his guy. The Houston Rockets didn't want to trade him to Philadelphia. That's how he ended up over there in Brooklyn. He didn't want to be there. He instantly quit up on the squad. Then he had a hamstring injury. And Kevin Durant questioned his work ethic and his weight ability as soon as he came in. Then Kyrie Irving wanted to decide to be a part-time player after him and Kevin Durant discussing the offseason before of going to Brooklyn. Kyrie Irving decided to check out and to try to start running practices without Steve Nash rebuttals in it. Then all of a sudden, Kevin Durant have to force to do it by himself, which is he almost beat the bus by himself by a toe on the line. So you have to give him respect on that. Then Kevin Durant asked for a trade. They didn't trade him. But what did he do? He still went out there. He still balled it out. You didn't hear nothing from him. But Kyrie Irving, once he didn't find a way, he didn't want to get his money. He wanted his way out. Why would I pay Kyrie Irving if you're not even going to be on the court? I don't know when you're going to check out. I don't know when you're going to find a way to go to someone's party. I don't know when you're not going to decide to play basketball. So I agree with Brooklyn. I wouldn't give him the money. I would have waited till the offseason to find a way to try to work a deal, but he didn't want to do that. They decided to trade him to Dallas, and I liked it. I liked it what Brooklyn did. The big deal wasn't going to get done without Mikal Bridges being in the deal. Phoenix didn't want to put Mikal Bridges in the deal, but they realized they had to get Kevin Durant. I think Phoenix got better, but the only problem with Phoenix, can they stay on the court? Can they stay healthy? How's DeAndre Ayton going to react when he's not getting the basketball? You know who's going to get those touches? Kevin Durant is going to get most of those touches now that you got Devin Booker and Chris Paul. How's he going to react? Monty Williams and DeAndre Ayton doesn't have the best relationship. He basically called him out last offseason, DeAndre Ayton, our last playoffs, and DeAndre Ayton didn't like it. He was thinking he's going to move on from them. But the only thing about Phoenix, man, like I say, they got to stay healthy. If they can stay healthy, they can beat anybody. But Brooklyn Nets, they also good. They also got better with the first-round picks. Mikal Bridges, Dinwiddie is really good. Cameron Johnson, how good has he been since Kyrie Irving? Kyrie Irving is also bad luck. Every team he leaves, the team gets better. Cameron Johnson gets playing time, and he immediately dropped half 240-point game. Boston Celtics immediately makes it to the finals after he leaves. Cleveland goes back to the finals after he leaves. So any team without Kyrie Irving, they immediately get better. But this was a fun, exciting trade deadline. A lot of moves, a lot of teams got better. Liked it what the Hawks did, even though they gave up 5 second-round picks. But you got a very capable guy in Sadiq Bey over there. People are not going to mention Sadiq Bey because he plays for the damn Detroit Pistons. But he's a really good player. They also got some shooting over there. But y'all, I really liked this trade deadline.
I was saying yesterday as I was watching the Nets game, because the Nets, man, they look very impressive without 2 of their superstars after the trade. And I was saying that sometimes when your team has to play without 2 of your best superstars or your best players on the floor, that's when you see other guys step up. That's when you see what other guys can bring to the offense. And that's when you really see how good a player can truly be, because a player is able to maximize his talent and showcase his true ability. And that's what we saw from the Brooklyn Nets. But I'm with you, Coach. I think this is one of the biggest underachievements in professional sports history, not just in NBA history. But this is one of the biggest underachievements because when you put two superstars as good as Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, the expectations soar, right? And you are supposed to win multiple championships. At least that's what everyone thought would happen when those two joined forces together in Brooklyn. That was the plan going in, was to win multiple championships. It never panned out. It didn't work out. This experiment, went bad quickly, and it blew up in the faces of the Brooklyn Nets. It was a failed chemistry test. Unfortunately, it just didn't work out. You hired the wrong coach in Steve Nash, who was unproven, and the culture took a hit. Guys weren't able to gel together. The chemistry wasn't there. They didn't have enough time to develop cohesion because clearly, not Kevin Durant, but Kyrie Irving missed a lot of games. And you didn't really get a chance to evaluate the team because they weren't playing together for a full season. So it's just too bad for the Brooklyn Nets. It's unfortunate that it had to end the way it did because now you have a bunch of role players and you got a bunch of wing players as well, which is probably why it would have been better. And this is not me being biased. It probably would have been better if the Nets were able to get a deal done with the Lakers to send Kyrie Irving to the Lakers because you would have been able to get rid of more of those wing players. Am I making sense? I mean, that, if they would have pulled off the trade with instead of pulling it off with Dallas, that's just my belief.
Yeah, it's just I don't think Brooklyn was willing to send Kyrie wherever he wanted to go after all the the drama and the trouble he caused while he was there. I mean, we would have loved, I would have loved to see Kyrie and obviously Kyrie and probably even LeBron would have loved to see those guys back together again. But Brooklyn wasn't having that. I mean, you cause a bunch of trouble. Saying you very outspoken about the the vaccine. You talked about the the movie, the book, whatever, with the anti-Semitism. He just brought a bunch of negative attention to Brooklyn, and Brooklyn wasn't having that. So when they was ready for him to trade him, no, you're not gonna go where you want you to go. We're gonna send you somewhere else where it's really not gonna be effective if we would cross paths again. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
So just Kyrie, he kind of played himself in that whole situation. He could have got to LA had he done well. It was like, people forget, like, Brooklyn won like 13 games in a row this season, right off Kyrie's off the play of Kyrie Irving. But just Kyrie being Kyrie kind of
too. Great fourth quarter guy, because he
right.
Fourth quarter.
Like King said, Kyrie didn't have the leverage that Kevin Durant had. Kevin Durant actually had the leverage on what he wanted to go, because he wanted to go to Phoenix. They sent him to Phoenix. They didn't at first. The first time Phoenix turned him down, they didn't want to put Mikal Bridges in the deal. Now they decided, hey, we let go of Kyrie Irving. Let's just go ahead and do right by KD and just send him to Phoenix. They didn't want to send Kyrie Irving to the Lakers. They didn't want to do that at all. Lakers did. They did whatever Lakers tried to do whatever they could to sweeten the pot. The Brooklyn Nets just wasn't having it. They just wasn't having it. They wanted the Lakers first round pick. The Lakers didn't want to do it, and so that now they went on and they sent them to Dallas, which is Dallas also gave up Dorian Finney-Smith. A very good wing defender too. Very good wing defender. They got Spencer Dinwiddie back, who was part of that first playoff team with the Brooklyn Nets over there. So again, I believe Kevin Durant had a lot of leverage on where he wanted to go. It's just Kyrie didn't. Kyrie didn't have the leverage, and they say, "Nah, we're gonna send you to a deal. Whatever best deal we can get, we get out of you. That's what we're gonna send you." While Kevin Durant had the leverage, so he get to choose where he wanted to go because he had a no trade clause actually. So you gotta, whatever team he picked, you gotta find the best deal to send him there.
This was not Kyrie Irving, but this was Kawhi Leonard 2.0. This was kind of like what we saw a few years back when Kawhi Leonard wanted out. He wasn't happy with the way things were going in San Antonio. We all remember that, right? He voiced his displeasure. Well, he didn't really speak up, but he showed it with his body language and his actions that he wanted out. He said that the team didn't have his best interest, that the team didn't have his back. And what did the Spurs do? They didn't only send him to another team, they sent him out of the country. And he ended up with the Toronto Raptors. And yes, he hasn't really done crap since then, because when he was with the Toronto Raptors, where I think he should have stayed, he made an immediate impact on that team and led that team to an NBA championship. Its first NBA championship in franchise history. But it was kind of like that. It felt like that all over again, seeing Kyrie go to Dallas. And, Dallas needed another superstar. That's why I like the trade, because they needed another superstar, because you got to keep Luka happy, right? You want Luka to be your cornerstone player, and you want him to stay in Dallas. And you want him to stay for many years to come. So you had to team him up with another superstar. And, they did that. They went out. They packaged a deal that would give them Kyrie Irving, and let's see how it works out. Let's see if Kyrie Irving is actually committed and he gives it his all while he's there. Now, he's a free agent at the end of the season. So, I mean, Mark Cuban is going to have some work to do this offseason if he wants to keep him in a Mavs uniform. I don't see that. I don't see that happening either. I think it's going to be a busy offseason regardless. But I think Kyrie's going to end up going where he actually wants to go. He's going to be able to test free agent waters, and he might end up with the Lakers. Who knows? We don't know, because that seems like his preferred destination, right? Is that he wants to reunite with LeBron and reconcile his differences with LeBron, and I think he realizes what he had in LeBron and how special LeBron was, and that's why he would like to once again be on the same team, playing on the same floor alongside LeBron James. But you guys have any final thoughts on this?
I think he's known. I'm sorry. I think he's known that since he left for Boston. I think he's missed LeBron James since he went to Boston. Yeah. He just hasn't been the same, and he's been doing everything he can to get back. I guess in good. I don't want to say in good graces with LeBron or to get back with LeBron, but he's been fighting to get back. So this offseason is probably his best chance. I don't see them unless Dallas makes a deep run and Kyrie has a change. I don't want to say a change of character, but Kyrie kind of like changes up a little bit and becomes like less selfish. I don't know. I don't see Dallas keeping him. So if he wants to give it to Lakers, his best bet would be probably clean up the attitude a little bit, and then wait to see if they offer him in the offseason.
I think Kyrie Irving's biggest key is going to be his attitude in Dallas locker room, because Mark Cuban ain't going to play that. He's not going to play that at all. See what he did to Rajon Rondo. He didn't play at all in the Houston series. They stopped playing him, and him and Luka Doncic getting along. That's the biggest key, the relationship of them and how far they go. If they can't coexist, especially in the playoff, you hear anything about a locker room blow up or argument in the locker room, that's going to be all done for Kyrie Irving, and then Luka will be right back probably in the same spot again by himself. And when Dorian Finney-Smith, them already traded assets just to get capable assets just to get Kyrie Irving, it can easily blow up in Dallas' face if this don't work out.
Right, because look, you got two ball-dominant guards on one team, right? I mean, it sounded crazy at first because, oh my God, Luka and Kyrie, how much damage they could do in the league now that they have teamed up and they're together on the same court. That's all good and all, but like you said, those two guys have to, be able to coexist, and the chemistry has to be there. You could put three superstars on one team. Just ask the Brooklyn Nets, and they can kindly tell you that it didn't work out. I mean, throwing three superstars on one team doesn't guarantee you a championship. It doesn't. It doesn't guarantee that you're gonna win it all. And we've seen that time and time again. What's that famous saying? What's that quote out there? That phrase that we hear a lot? Talent wins you ball games, but consistency wins you championships. And that is a fact. And we've seen a number of teams that have imploded over the years. They've had some of the best scorers in the league. They have been able to assemble these super teams, but they will fall short every time because, of course, the chemistry wasn't there, or there was something lacking within the organization, or just things not working out on the team because there was infighting chaos or whatever it might have been. And we've seen teams that the experiment just never worked out, never came to fruition. So let's see how it works out. We will know more about the Dallas Mavericks as we continue to get a glimpse of those two guys together on the floor, and we shall see. But guys, we're going to move on. We're going to talk about Freddie's team now. We're going to talk about my team as well. I'm a Laker fan, but like I always tell y'all, I keep it real, okay? Now, I'm not afraid to bash my team. And, Coach, you know, I'll get on the Lakers case in a minute. I'll tell it like it is, good or bad. You know, if you're playing like crap, I'm going to tell you. If you're playing good, I'm gonna praise you. I'm going to applaud you. But if you're playing like crap, yeah, I'm going to talk about you. If you're playing like toilet water and piss, then you get talked about really bad. And
you deserve it.
Yeah, right, you deserve it. You're not going to get your flowers from me like Freddie. Every time, even if the Lakers do bad, we all know how Freddie is, right? Freddie gives the team his flowers. Freddie be talking like the team's going to come back and win. And you know what? We got a guy like that. We got a guy like that out here in LA, and I'm going to put him out there. Michael Cooper. Now, Michael Cooper used to play with Magic and the Showtime Lakers back in the day. Now, look, he comes on one of the pregame shows locally here in Southern California on ABC7 after the games. And the Lakers could be down a series. Let me tell you, the Lakers could be down. Look, King's laughing because he knows. The Lakers could be down 0-3. Tell me if I'm wrong or not. They could be down 0-3 in the series, and he still believes the team has enough fight in them to pull off this miraculous comeback. Oh, they're going to come back from an 0-3 deficit. The Lakers will be fine the next day. This is how Michael Cooper talked. Oh, yeah, we'll get them back tomorrow. We'll win. We'll win. We're champions. We'll bounce back, and we'll find a way to win this series. That's how Freddie is. You know,
he's not lying. Exactly how that's Michael Cooper in a nutshell for sure.
That's how Michael Cooper is.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just like that. He is Laker through and through.
He is Laker through and through.
You can't tell him anything different.
No,
you can't
convince him nothing. Once the series is over, you have convinced him. You know, next year we'll win it all. Next year, you sound like those typical delusional Laker fans, and we have a lot of them running our streets. And King knows because he lives down the street from me, and he knows how these fans out here are. You know, they get butthurt if you tell them their team suck too. Because let me tell you, I'll be on some of them Laker chat pages, and you should hear the fan. And I just gotta click off. I'm like, I'm done with this. I'm off. I'm getting off this page because y'all spewing some nonsense. And y'all saying ridiculous things. They already think they could win with D'Angelo Russell, and that's what we're about to talk about now. Now, the question that I have for both of you guys, and I'm gonna start with King first. The question that I have for you: did the Lakers win by reacquiring or getting back D'Angelo Russell? And what does this mean for the Los Angeles Lakers moving forward?
I think that's like a subjective statement. Did they win with this trade? I think they did great by getting them back. D'Angelo Russell, you know, in my opinion, he shouldn't have left in the first place. He was a great point, and he was a good young point guard that through some tutelage through, you know, from Kobe Bryant, he could have, you know, been a lot better than what he is now. But you know, he still got the dog in him. I think the Lakers. I think it improves the Lakers. I think it improves the chance. I think it's a in my opinion, really a step up above having Russell Westbrook. But did they win? We have to see. We have to see for sure. What's it do for the Lakers? I think what's it going to do for the Lakers is going to is really going to give the Lakers a chance to get the ball up and down the court faster. And I think that's where they struggle at with them. The Lakers, it's so hard because like it's like they changed. It's a brand new team that we have to talk about, and it's always like a new team at the beginning of the season with these guys. So, do I think they improve? They might improve a little bit, but definitely with D'Angelo Russell, with adding them back for sure. Just a little bit. It's not much. It's not gonna be much like where they're gonna overnight become a playoff team because the rest of these guys have to do work. And LeBron, they can't just sit back and watch LeBron do everything. I always say, like, since LeBron's 38 years old, he shouldn't be scoring 30 points a game when you have that amount of talent around him. It's crazy, like, when you're playing with great players, other players tend to sit back and take the popcorn and watch. But that's been the Lakers' problem the past couple of years. And until they move past that, they're just gonna always be right there. So with Russell adding him, it makes them a little bit better. I don't see them. I mean, you can't. I wouldn't mention them in the same breath of the Suns.
Hell no. It makes them look. It makes them more interesting,
right?
Okay. And I'm going to tell you guys like this. I think this trade was done to get rid of Russell Westbrook because he had become a cancer in the locker room. We all know he was a cancerous player on that team. And when you saw him going at it the other night with Darvin Ham, you kind of knew that the Lakers had gotten fed up with his antics and his behavior, particularly in the locker room. So the Lakers grew frustrated with Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook didn't really accept his role as a bench player coming off the bench, even though he thrived coming off the bench. But in reality, did he really like coming off the bench? No, because this is a guy who never adjusted his style of play. This is a guy who always thought of himself as a starter, and he wanted to be a starter, and he has to have the spotlight. And, he has a big ego. And because of his ego trip, that led to his departure with the Lakers, and now he's no longer a Laker. So I think the Lakers wanted to jettison him. They were really focused on getting a trade done so they could get him out of LA. And I don't know how they did it, but they did it. They got D'Angelo Russell back. He reunites with the Lakers, his former team. But this was again done to get rid of Russell Westbrook. And you saw AD not really stand. People made a big thing about this. AD wasn't really on his feet when LeBron surpassed Kareem. Everyone had risen to their feet. Everyone was applauding LeBron. The fans were roaring. But AD being dispirited and not really feeling it at the moment, he sat there. If you guys saw the clip, he sat there. And I think more than anything, he was weary. He was upset with the situation that had taken place with Russell Westbrook and Darvin Ham, because those two guys have just gotten into it. And that would kind of kill the team morale. That would kind of kill your mood, right, as a player. So I think more than anything, it wasn't about LeBron's special night or the fact that LeBron had become the all-time scoring leader. It had nothing to do with that. It was the fact that Russell Westbrook had, killed a lot of their moods with his negative energy on the team, and I think it had a negative effect on the team. So that's why he is out the door now, and that's why D'Angelo Russell is back in the Lakers uniform. But before I hand it over to Coach, why I like this trade, I like it because now you get a shooter. Now it's just a matter of being able to put it together on a nightly basis for D'Angelo Russell, because D'Angelo Russell, yes, he's good in every 1 of 5 games. Yeah, he can ball in every one of 5 games. He's good. Every now and then you're gonna get a decent performance from him, but can he do it consistently consistently? That's the big question with him. We all know that the boy can ball. He's bad. He's a bad man. You know, when the ball is falling through the net, you know, that works good for your team. So I think if he just be more consistent, and if he's able to not only be a streaky shooter and knock down big shots in big moments for the Lakers, I think this is a good trade. I think it's a good trade because what it does is it creates more spacing for the Lakers. Now you could spread the floor. You could really spread the floor with D'Angelo Russell. Not only D'Angelo Russell, but you got to look at the other two guys that they got. They got that young dude, Vanderbilt. You know, he's a good defender as well. He's a really good defender, and he's one of the top prospects in the NBA. So I like that deal too. So I think what this does, this spreads the floor. This makes the Lakers more tough, a little tougher than before. Now it takes some of the load off of LeBron. You know, LeBron doesn't have to do much defending on the other end of the floor, and then coming down the floor, dribbling the ball and shooting it and all that. You won't see much of that anymore, because now you have a point guard that can do that for you, and you know that can be a distributor and everything else. So I like this trade for that reason. But does it make them better than the Phoenix Suns? Hell no. Does it make them better than the Denver Nuggets? No. Does it make them better than the Sacramento Kings that they could potentially play in a play-in tournament? Who knows?
It barely makes them better than the Lakers that were 2 weeks ago.
Exactly. Exactly. And if AD gets hurt, forget it.
Yeah, it's done.
Forget it, because you run your offense through him. I think you run your offense through him more than you run it through LeBron now. You know? But the problem with him is that he can never stay healthy. But I want to hear from Coach on this. Coach, tell me about this trade. What do you think?
Well, I wouldn't say it moved the needle for me, like you guys said. But when you're Anthony Davis, even though you're having a bad game, you didn't have the best game. I mean, he was efficient. He was 6 of 9 when he did shoot. You got to get up and applaud LeBron James. Most of that, again, you played more to give LeBron James the ball than winning the game. And the team that you lost against they're over you. They're ahead of you in the playoff picture. The Thunder is ahead of you. The team that you seen it in the play, after LeBron James got the record, you seen it in the play. The Thunder literally goes on a 23-10 run. They went on a 23-10 run after LeBron James. They just stopped playing basketball right after that. But I think it helps the Lakers as far as defensive versatility with Jared Vanderbilt. Jared Vanderbilt is my favorite guy that they got up out of that trade. He gives you defense. He gives you a lot of athletic ability, hustling. Malik Beasley, even a good shooter, coming off screens and coming off the bench. I don't think it moves the needle a lot for me. I think the Lakers are still going to have some struggles. And Minnesota, one thing everybody should know, about D'Angelo Russell, Minnesota did whatever they could to get him fired out. They got tired of him. They got tired of his inconsistent play. Like Jonathan said, you will get a very good ball game once in every while, but it does help you on the shooting end. As far as Russell Westbrook, they've been wanting Russell Westbrook out. They just couldn't find a trade that was interested enough to get him up out of there. But this team still can struggle. Like you said, I'm not putting them over the Memphis Grizzlies. I don't think they're better than the Nuggets. I really don't. I damn sure don't think they're better than Phoenix. You can argue they're better than better than OKC. You can argue that, but I think I would trust them against OKC. But again, I don't think they're better than the Warriors when the Warriors are actually healthy. I don't think they're better than the Warriors when they're healthy. So at best, the Lakers could be the seventh best team in the Western Conference. Probably the Clippers. I think the Clippers are better. I think the Clippers are actually better than the Lakers. I really do. I really think the Clippers are, even though the Clippers didn't get a point guard, I think the Clippers are actually better now that they got Eric Gordon. They did get Bones Highland. They did get better. The only thing about it, who's going to run the point guard duties about them. So the Lakers no more. Probably you can argue the Kings. You can argue the Kings. The Kings had some success against them. So Lakers, you're looking at 9 good teams. Dallas, I forgot about Dallas. You're looking at least 10 or 9 teams that could be better than the Lakers still at this point. And the Lakers still got a tough schedule. They still got a tough schedule to play. It's going to be interesting to see how this team gels together. And if Anthony Davis is the key to this team's success. If he can stay on the floor, He can make a difference. If he gets hurt, then I think it's a wrap. I think it's a wrap for the Lakers. They cannot afford Anthony Davis to get hurt at all. But they got some interesting pieces, but I don't think it moves the needle for me. They did get better with shooting defensively wise. I think the problem was on the defensive side of the basketball. They couldn't stop anybody. They couldn't stop the three ball. They struggled guarding the three. And when Anthony Davis was in the ball game, teams were still able to get to the paint. And you saw that when they played against OKC after LeBron got that record.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you're right about AD. AD is the key component to that offense. You know, he is going to be the driving force to that offense. But yes, also LeBron's going to be the catalyst for the offense as well, because look, LeBron is putting up a lot of points for the Lakers. But here's the problem. Here's the thing. The biggest fear for the Lakers is LeBron getting hurt in the playoffs, because he's putting a lot of mileage on his body, and he's putting so much wear and tear on his body, and the dude's going to be burnt out by the time the playoffs come.
You're going to make it to the playoffs.
You're going to run his body into the ground.
We don't have that problem. We're not going to have that problem, brother. They're not going to make it to the playoffs.
But even in the playing tournament, they ran his body into the ground. But I'm with you. They probably ain't gonna make that.
I forgot another team. If Zion can come back for New Orleans, that's another team that's potentially better than the Lakers. If Zion can stay on the floor,
I'll put it like this.
There's several teams better than the Lakers right now
in the NBA. No, every damn team in the NBA is better than the Lakers right now.
Listen. I'm looking at it right now. I'm looking at the standings right now. And there's only two teams that the Lakers are better than in the Western Conference, and it's a shame. It's the San Antonio Spurs and the Houston Rockets.
My Rockets.
And the Houston Rockets. That's the only
Rockets
two teams.
Might even beat them if they play. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me at all.
I wouldn't put it past me, but the Lakers have a lot of issues, man. I mean, like you said, they overhauled the team through this trade deadline, making these big trades. It's still going to take some time for the guys to get used to playing together, getting used to playing on the same system, developing that chemistry, and not LeBron watching. Like as you said earlier, like it's going to give LeBron some. No, LeBron's going to have to turn it up. It's if they want to make the playoffs, but I don't even see them, even with him turning up, they're making the playoffs. It looks pretty bad for them. I'm just gonna say that.
It does.
It looks pretty bad for them.
Guys, we're running out of time. We're gonna get to our last topic. Our last topic is who are the winners of this year's trade deadline. And for me, I'll go first. The winner is obvious. It's the Phoenix Suns. The Phoenix Suns won big in this trade. They got Kevin Durant, arguably one of the best players in all of basketball. We all know that about Durant, right? We know Durant is good enough to be the best player in a playoff series in any round. He's a threat. He's a scoring threat. He's a scoring assassin. He can take over a ball game single-handedly. And I think he just made the Phoenix Suns a championship contender. They are clearly the front runners to win the whole thing. No question about it. They look more fierce than before. They're stacked. They're loaded. You got Devin Booker at the 2. He's a stud. Then you got the floor general, the point guard, they called him. This might be his last shot at trying to win a championship. And he's going to be the brains of the operation. The offense is going to run through him. No question about it. And, he's going to he's going to make sure he puts his players in the best position to succeed, because he's a true point guard. That's what true point guards do. They run the offense, and he can run the offense really well. So I like this move. Kevin Durant's going to get his touches. He's going to be able to knock down some shots. And, I think Paul is going to be a great distributor with Kevin Durant on the floor. This makes Kevin Durant job a lot easier, having a true point guard. And that's why I think he wanted to be in Phoenix. He he knows that he has another chance at winning a championship playing alongside Devin Booker and, of course, Chris Paul. So I like it. It's a good move. Yes, you lose. Unfortunately, you had to lose somebody in this trade, and you lose Mikal Bridges. Mikal Bridges was, like Coach said earlier, he was your best defender. You lose a very, very good defender, but you get better with Durant, and now you have Durant and Booker, who both are good off the ball. They're great off-ball movers. They're dangerous sprinting off the weak side screens and firing off the catch. So this Phoenix Suns team is definitely going to be exciting to watch. So those are my biggest winner. That's my biggest winner, the Phoenix Suns.
Okay.
Go ahead, King. Go ahead.
Okay. I could say right now, if we're talking right now, I would say the Phoenix Suns. But I mean, down the road, Brooklyn looks like they're in a really good spot too. You highlight on the Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, who's had a pretty, a couple pretty good games. And then Jay Crowder, but they also got first 4-round picks out of this draft, right. out of this trade, and then they have a 2008 pick swap. If Brooklyn can manage those swaps correctly, and I'm sorry, those picks. I'm sorry, those first 4-round picks correctly, they could place themselves and put themselves in a good in a good position in the future. So right now, I would say the Suns won it. Then they obviously the Suns, but then down the road, like in the long run, I like Brooklyn.
Coach, who's your winner?
I mean, you go to the Suns; they're an obvious winner. They're a unanimous winner in this deal. And I like what Brooklyn did too, getting them first round picks. If they can use them the right way, they can probably entice another free agent to come in and use those picks. But I'm gonna go with probably a sleeper on my end. The Atlanta Hawks. Like I said, I do like the Atlanta Hawks and Sadiq Bey, what he brings them on the offensive side of the ball and the defensive side of the ball, the versatility. They did end up getting Garrison Matthews, who could shoot, a rim protector, and Bruno Fernando. They gave up 5 second-round picks for Sadiq Bey, second-round picks, and there was nothing in the trade deadline. Everybody was just getting second-round picks. You get a second-round pick. You get a second-round pick. You get a second. It was just some handoffs of second-round picks, but yeah, they were they could be very valuable. But I did like what the Hawks did. Right now, they're 28-28. I think they still can get in the top 6 in the Eastern Conference. At the bottom of the Eastern Conference, that's where this week. At the top, you probably got a little glimpse on who's going to be what was going to be the seeding 1 through 4 on that. But the bottom is very open. The bottom is very open, and I think Sadiq Bey and Atlanta Hawks could get something going. No, they like to trade John Collins, get him up out of there, but they're able to keep him. I think he can make an impact in the playoff run. But I really liked it. What the Atlanta Hawks definitely did.
Real quick, guys, before we give our final thoughts, who are your losers?
Okay, I got a loser that took a big fat L yesterday. That's the Chicago Bulls. How can you didn't do anything in the trade deadline? You didn't convince yourself that you needed more help at the trade deadline. You got Patrick Williams in the lottery, and he can give you. He hasn't done nothing. He hasn't really done nothing but stayed hurt. Right now. Right now at this point, he's a bust at this point for Patrick Williams. He's just not being able to get off. DeMar DeRozan was terrible yesterday. There's been conflict in the locker room throughout this whole season. Zach LaVine. I like Zach LaVine, but I'm not a big fan of his game because he shoots too many jumpers. Just to be that athletic, you shoot too many jump shots. You set up for too many jump shots. They got people on the team that need the ball too much. The ball, when the ball's in DeMar DeRozan's hand, they standing around too much. They stand around, and Billy Donovan is not a very good head coach. He's not a very good head coach in this league. He's a bottom tier head coach. The only reason he was successful in Oklahoma City because you had Kevin Durant and a young Russell Westbrook. That team was good enough that they didn't even need to be really coached that well. That's how good Oklahoma City did. But now you come to Chicago. Now your coaching is getting exposed. Everybody want them out of there. The front office is not good. You got Andre Drummond on the bench for nothing. just to come in for nothing. You don't really got a point guard. So most of your offense going through either DeMar DeRozan or Zach LaVine, and teams know that. Then you coming out of the All-Star, you coming out of the trade deadline, you get beat down by the Brooklyn Nets your first game, and DeMar DeRozan was horrible, even to the point where he had to sit on the bench. The big fat losers is definitely, and on my end, it's the Chicago Bulls. They did nothing to improve the team, and then it got to the point where they wanted to trade Zach LaVine. They didn't do it, so they're the big fat losers for me in the trade deadline.
I'm gonna say the Utah Jazz. You get you trade away. I'm sorry. You trade away Mike Conley. You get nothing, and you get nothing really in return. You get Russell Westbrook, but Westbrook is they're probably gonna buy out his contract, and he's gonna be gone too. So they got nothing in return out of that whole trade. They lost some key pieces and got virtually nothing back for it. I mean, that 27 first round pick. I mean,
yep.
I mean, I wouldn't be too excited. I wouldn't be too excited about that pick either. So
yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah. So I would say Utah 100% for me.
I'm going with the trendy one here. It's obvious, the Brooklyn Nets. The Brooklyn Nets attempt to build a super team, and it backfired tremendously. The Nets chased superstars, and once they got them, they struggled at seemingly every turn to manage them in ways that it could elevate the team. So to me, it's the Brooklyn Nets. They were in prime contention. And like I said earlier, I've never seen a franchise trade away two superstar players at the trade deadline when they had a chance to win the championship this year and contend in the East. So, I mean, to me, that's the biggest disappointment. That's the biggest loser, because you lose both Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant.
Gotcha.
Guys, we're gonna move on to final thoughts now. We have run out of time. It has been another great night of sports talk, as always. You guys are doing great stuff. Thank you guys again for joining me tonight for another episode of the Judge's Corner. But before we go, I want to ask everyone to do us a huge favor and hit that subscribe button. Subscribe to our network, the Sports Empire, and also like this and share this podcast. Get it out there. Just put it out there. But now we're gonna hand it over to King. We're gonna let you give your final thoughts. What's up, man?
All right, man. Once again, man, I appreciate being a part of the Judge's Corner podcast here on YouTube. You can find us on, with the Sports Empire Network. Shout out to those guys at the Sports Empire Network. Shout out to my my co-hosts on the Truth Be Told Sports podcast, Hollow Point and White Mike. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Truth Be Told Sports podcast. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook. I'm sorry, well, not Facebook. I'm sorry, Instagram, TikTok, and what's the other one? Twitter at King Hooley _26. And that's it. I think I'm good. Yeah, that's it. I'm good. Hey, come back next week. Yeah, do that.
I'm handing it over to you, Coach.
Hey, y'all can find me on Empire Sports Network. Do play-by-plays on Empire Sports Network. Also, Coach Dante YouTube channel. Y'all can find me basically on the Sports Empire Network and everywhere on YouTube, pretty much. And again, I'm gonna come back next week. Come back next Friday. You never know, y'all. Jonathan, shout out to Jonathan. I watch his videos all the time, and you never know we gonna rant again. Always looking forward to it. And like I say, he don't be lying. He gets up in him. He couple of times I caught him going up again with the Dodgers. I just had to get him, but that guy's the best ranter that I know. And yeah, I'm happy to be on the Sports Judge anytime I get an opportunity.
And you guys can find me on various platforms. You guys can find me on Twitter Sports Judge 85. You guys can find me on Facebook. That's where I'm really active. I'm active on my fan page on Facebook. Look up the Sports Judge. I post memes there. I post commentaries. I post short take videos. You guys can like it and follow it, and we can be buddies and we can chat about sports. And hopefully you guys will look up the page and like and follow. And then you guys can also follow me on Instagram as well, Sports Judge 85. I haven't posted on Instagram in a while though. It's been a minute since I posted over there. And you guys can also find me every day, just about, on my YouTube channel. They know where they can find me. Look up the Sports Judge. I'm on YouTube. I do short videos there. I also do sports videos there as well. So you guys want to check all that good stuff out as well. We'll be back Monday. Same network, same time, right here on the Sports Empire Network. And before we go, I just hope everyone has a great weekend. Enjoy football. Get fat for the next couple of days, because I know you guys are going to be munching on that good food, those nachos, hot dogs, pizza, whatever it is, popcorn, whatever you're going to be eating for the Super Bowl. So enjoy yourselves. Be safe. Don't drink and drive. Do not drink and drive. Watch the game. Celebrate with dignity and pride, and enjoy yourselves. Enjoy the Super Bowl. It's going to be a great game, and we'll see you guys on Monday. For Coach Dante and for King and myself, we are checking out. Have a great weekend. Thanks for joining us.
Fly Eagles.